Welcome to r/entitled people, where we share stories from your lives about people who think the rules don't apply to them, and they should get what they want. Thank you, friends, for subscribing to the channel, and for so many likes. And today we have two great stories, so subscribe, hit the like button, and let's begin. The first story, Foiled Again, Persistent Shoppers' Expired Product Ploy Thwarted. The second story, From Retail Nightmare to Legal Triumph. The first story is, Woman tries to get away with stealing at store by constantly bringing up expired products. I'm one of the leading cashiers at a grocery store chain. I've worked here many years now and seen a variety of people, including thieves, so I can pick up on it quite easy and have some tactics on how to discourage thieves at the register. One of the most common ways people steal at my store is using the sales tags. When an item goes on sale, it's because it's close to the expiration date. We tape on a sales sticker and put it on the sticker shelf. Sometimes people try to peel off the stickers and place them on more expensive items. These aren't automatic stickers and must be inputted manually by a cashier, which usually deters a thief, because the computer will prompt manager permission if a sales input is unusually large for the item. Sometimes it'll do this on a normal item if the price is raised before the sticker is updated. In this case, we compare the barcodes in the item in the machine, check the name matches, then confirm the price raise. If everything checks out, we'll call over a manager to allow the discount sale. The story begins with a woman learning about these discounts and trying to take advantage of it. I'm a primary cashier at the store, which means I'm up at the registers the most. Nobody else is at the registers unless I specifically request more cashiers, so I encountered this woman one-on-one multiple times and didn't think anything of it. The first time I met her, she brought me 2 loaves of bread, one normal one, and one with a price tag. The first thing she told me before I even scanned them was that the sale item was expired, and she wanted it for a bigger discount than what the sale said. Per law, we cannot sell expired items, so I outright told her no, I'm sorry, but legally I can't sell you this. I can ring up the normal bread, but the date on it is still more than a month out, so this isn't eligible for a sale. She didn't like this, but accepted it and left without buying anything. The next time I saw her was a few days later. She tried the same tactic, so I recognized her quickly. This time she was wanting vitamins. Again, telling her that I cannot sell an expired item, but the date on the non-sale vitamins was close enough to where I could give a discount. She accepted it, bought the vitamins, and left. A few minutes later, she returned while I was in the middle of a large transaction and told me it was a tester bottle and if she could get a different one. I was a bit frantic at the sudden large order, so to save everyone time and give good customer service, I double-checked and confirmed the vitamin in her label was marked as tester and made a judgment. I let her get a different bottle without ringing her up, allowing her to keep the discount price I gave without the item being close to the expiration date. It's something I almost never do, but it was busy that day and wouldn't be an overall issue, especially when it was a tester bottle for some reason, which I found odd at the time. A tester was even on the shelf, but wanted to offer something kind. After that, we hired a new cashier I'll name Kay for this. Kay was just starting out and still learning the basics, so I didn't want to overwhelm her. She had just completed basic training on the computers and was out on the floor. While the boss cashier was busy, I would sometimes call her over if she looked a little lost, and tell Kay a bit about how to use the register and some tips to make everything work faster. Sale theft wasn't one of the topics I had a chance to get to yet, since she was still learning how to apply the sale price at all. This particular day, Kay was at the register while I was working the floor. I had just had multiple tooth extractions the day before, and was in too much pain to speak to customers all day. Kay was alright taking over, and would page other cashiers to come up and help if she was too stressed out and confused. On this day, wouldn't you have guessed, but as a certain familiar woman appeared at Kay's register. She told me this after the fact, so I knew what happened. Again, she had a sale item and a normal item and tried the same method. One was expired, the other wasn't. She wanted a large discount. Kay was in a panic, not knowing how to handle the situation. She said she had to call a manager to tell her what to do, and the woman suddenly got mad. She said she wanted a big sale and cashiers have let her do it before, so just give a discount on the expired item. Not knowing what to do, Kay rang up the expired item and called up a manager to discount larger than the sale tag said without saying the item was expired. Kay told me she was afraid at the woman suddenly getting angry and didn't know how to say no without sounding rude. I told her that if the woman appears, the best thing to do is confirm the expired item and say we can't sell anything expired by law. She could have the normal item at full price if the date is good, but not the expired one. Kay looked relieved, and we also relayed the same sentiment to the other cashiers at the store to be on the lookout for the woman. Wouldn't you have guessed, she appeared once again. By this point, we all had an idea what she was doing and were briefed on her tactics. She came up to my register with her script. How she kept finding expired items, I have no idea. My bet was she was taking sales tags and moving them around, and hiding close-date items in the far back of the sales shelf to return to. She had 2 items as always. Of course, one expired. Well, here we go, back to this repeated dance. I confirmed the date, and I told her I can't sell an expired item even at a discount. She pleaded to just give it to her. I reiterated I cannot sell it by law. She could have the regular item, but it wouldn't have a discount. She said she didn't want it if it didn't have a discount. Just ring up the sale and give it to her. Kay had done it before. Why was it a problem every time she came to me? I told her Kay was still learning, and she wasn't speaking to Kay. She was speaking to the current elder cashier who was telling her that I had to refuse a sale on an expired item. The woman asked for a manager, which I was happy to page. The manager approached and asked what was going on. I gave her the quick rundown that she wanted to buy an expired item. The manager nodded with me and turned her attention to the woman who repeats what I said. They're right. We can't sell expired items for safety reasons. It shouldn't have even been on the shelf, and I'm sorry about that. The manager took the expired item and brought it back to the storage room to place in the bad product box. The woman was now fuming by this point. I asked if she wanted to purchase the normal item she had, and she said no. She wanted that one, and she didn't want it if it didn't have a sale. I said I was sorry to hear that, but didn't have much else to say. I already knew she was attempting to manipulate us in some way, although I didn't entirely understand the plan with the whole expired item with a sale tag and fresh item without it. I knew it was fishy. Woman, you guys had it on the shelf, but I can't buy it. You're the only ones that stock it. I should just get it. It's already expired. I don't care about that. You're not going to sell it to anyone else anyway. That new cashier earlier let me get one. Me. Like I said, that new cashier was new and didn't know what to do. We can get in trouble if we knowingly sell an expired product and someone gets sick. Woman, I don't care about that. I wouldn't sue you guys if I did. I can't find it anywhere else. I'm a regular. Can't you do this one thing? Me. I'm sorry, I can't by law. But I appreciate you coming in often. Woman. Is there another manager I can speak to? It's ridiculous you keep denying me sales. Do you treat everyone like this? Me. I deny expired item sales every time I see it. I promise it's not just you. Woman. Whatever, just forget about it. She left without buying anything, but I get the feeling she's going to be back and try her tactics on another cashier. Unfortunately for her, every staff member in every department has been told about her in some way, so I doubt she's going to get very far. The behavior exhibited by the woman in this story is completely unacceptable. Trying to trick store employees into selling old goods at lower prices is not only dishonest, but it could also be dangerous for customers. Despite being repeatedly informed of store policy and legal regulations regarding the sale of expired items, the woman persistently attempted to coerce cashiers into violating these rules for her own benefit. Her disregard for the safety and well-being of others, as well as her blatant disregard for the law, is deeply concerning. The woman's attempts to take advantage of a new cashier who didn't know what she was doing also show how manipulative she is. It's disturbing to see her exploit someone's lack of knowledge for her own gain. The store employees dealt with the situation in a professional and honest way, always following the rules and policies that were put in place to keep customers safe and happy. They did the right thing by not giving in to the woman's demands, even though she kept trying to get them to change their minds. These kinds of actions should not be accepted, and everyone on staff needs to be on the lookout for attempts to trick and deceive them. The second story is F. Target. Used to work full-time at Target for 3 years when I was about 18. Not only was I a full-time college student at the time, but I had 2 other part-time jobs and easily worked 60 hours a week. The first 2 years was pretty fun. Management worked with my school schedule fairly well. I got paid a little above minimum wage and got lots of PTO and health benefits. The last year I worked there, we were under completely new management. This was about the time all the Target credit cards got hacked and thousands of people had money stolen from them. Target seemed a clear house of higher management, and the a-holes they hired were some of the worst managers I've ever had in my life, and I've had about 10 different jobs. All in the same week, a shopper stole $50 from my register when I wasn't looking. They got in on camera, and I had to pay it back by the end of the day so that it matched our system for closing, or I would be suspended. A grown easily 400-pound man yelled in my face when I called him sexist because he didn't believe I was the bike maker and didn't want any bikes made by a woman. And it was the week of Thanksgiving/Black Friday, in which they scheduled me to work 5 p.m. to 4 a.m. on Thanksgiving because people called out, to then work 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. on that same Friday. Effing 20 hours in 2 effing days. My last day of work and my last straw, really, was on what we call Gray Saturday at my store, the day after Black Friday. I had to come in on my day off because of call-outs and was exhausted beyond belief. As I was working my 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. shift, I noticed a long trail of oil on the floor reaching from our produce section to our home goods. It was so long I decided to follow it to see where it ended so I could call for backup. While following it, an elderly man and pregnant woman both of course slipped on the oil. Long story kinda short, after following Target protocol and calling code green and for immediate backup, I helped the elderly man and woman to a safer area and cleaned off their shoes and clothes of oil while we waited for management to arrive. Management never arrived no matter how many times I called for them. No one came to assist me. The woman and man were both injured and very upset at the neglect, and I easily agreed with them. It took 30 minutes for someone to finally meet us, and while I was keeping them company and tending to their wounds, 4 other people slipped. Once everything after 3 hours was cleaned up, reports were taken, and an ambulance was called. I was told to report to management's office to discuss what happened. Basically, management said it was my fault the whole scenario happened. I should have been more on top of things. I should have stopped and cleaned up the mess. By the way, it was effing baby oil. Alone if no one could respond. They told me I didn't do anything by the manual or by my training, and if these people try to sue, they'll personally be taking legal action against me. I flipped my effing lid. I exploded on them of all the SH I had been through that week, the things I had witnessed, the unfair and illegal work labor they put me through, and then because they were lazy and neglectful, they left me with injured shoppers and forced me to fend for myself in a fairly traumatizing experience. I told them that if they tried to sue me for that day's events, I would unleash all the illegal and scandalous things I've come to encounter with hard proof with my own legal team. They immediately apologized and tried to say they didn't mean it like that and I was overreacting. I instantly took off my pathetic red vest with my Target badge and scanner and threw it at them and told them I quit, and I hope those people sue them for everything they have and burn the store to the effing ground. I effing kid you not, 2 months later I'm called by the shoppers' personal lawyers about their case against Target Corporation wanting me to come in and give specific details as to what happened that day. I stood in front of a jury and Target's head lawyers themselves and stated that the store was hazardous to employee and customer health. There was severe neglect and basically came clean about everything, urging the judge and jurors that the store needed to be closed down, and these people compensated to their full desire. Turns out the shoppers won the case. The store was closed down for good, and most of management are facing criminal charges. I've never felt more at peace in my life. Also, a few people quit later that week, but I was a part of a movement that closed a whole store. By the way, most of the employees were transferred to another grander Target in the area with much higher pay, so they were okay. I'm sorry you had to go through such a hard and unfair time at Target. It's great that you're determined to stand up for what's right and speak out against the wrongs you saw. They should never be put in a situation where they have to deal with unsafe working conditions or are blamed for the mistakes of management. It's crazy that you were expected to take responsibility for the store's carelessness and bad treatment of customers. It takes a lot of courage to stand up to Target's management and give important testimony in support of the hurt shoppers. It's heartening to hear that justice was served and the store was held accountable for its actions. Without a doubt, what you did was a big part of making sure that those who were hurt got the money they were owed, and that management was punished for their wrongdoing. Hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Have a good day.